At the wedding, when Robert Morton tried to slide the ring onto my finger, the thing wouldn't go on no matter how hard he pushed. Beside him, Maya gray doubled over laughing. Bro, isn't this the ring you proposed to me with back then? The band's tiny. How's Alma Fox supposed to get that on? She snatched the ring out of his hand and tapped the initials engraved inside, clicking her tongue. Look, my initials are still in here. Not gonna lie, bro. Why didn't you get Alma a new one? The groomsman jumped in to needle him, blowing up whatever he'd done the night before. Robert, you snuck a kiss off Maya last night while she was asleep, didn't you? Guess you still haven't let her go. Watching the panic flicker across his face, it suddenly occurred to me that I could swap out the groom. I pulled out my phone and dialed a number. Didn't you say you'd crash the wedding and take the bride? You still want to crash the wedding? Alma, you think you're starring in some movie? Robert knocked the phone out of my hand and snapped at me, impatient. So, the band's a little small. How was I supposed to know your fingers were that thick? We'll do the ceremony today, and tomorrow I'll buy you one that fits. Maya draped an arm over Robert's shoulder and put on a show of talking me down. Alma, making a scene like this today is pretty disrespectful to my guy here. Careful, or he really might change his mind about marrying you. The rest of his crew chimed right in. Yeah, if Maya weren't anti-marriage, you'd never even be standing here marrying Robert. Count your blessings. Exactly. If Maya suddenly decided she'd take the deal, you'd be the one left looking like a fool, Alma. Of course, back in the day, Robert would have laid down his life for Maya. If his grandmother hadn't gotten so sick and basically threatened to die unless he settled down, you think he'd be rushing into marriage with you. Looking at the contempt in their eyes, I stumbled back a step, nails digging into my palms. So that was it. If Maya hadn't refused to marry him, Robert never would have picked me. If his grandmother weren't gravely ill, desperate to see him married off, he never would have picked me. Not one of his reasons for choosing me was love. So why was I choosing him? Maybe he sensed how I felt, or maybe the others had gone too far. Robert's face went cold and he kicked at the groomsman. Enough. Cut it out. Ooh, look at you, defending the wife now. They say friends are like family and women are like clothes you swap out. Well, since you clearly can't stand me, I'll just go. Maya turned to leave. Something close to panic crossed Robert's eyes, and he rushed after her, slamming into me so hard I went straight down onto the floor. But she was the only one he saw. Maya, you know how I feel. Doing this to me is worse than killing me. If you're not here, what's the point of getting married at all? Only then did Maya let a smile surface. She cut me a sidelong, triumphant look before making a show of hooking her arm back over Robert's shoulder. Good thing you know your place. When Robert finally turned around and saw I'd hit the ground, guilt flickered through his eyes. He reached to help me up, but I was already on my feet. Alma, stop making a scene. Let's get on with the wedding. I laughed coldly, my eyes red. Get on with it? You think we can just get on with it? With what? You couldn't even bother to bring a ring that was meant for me. Irritation crossed his face. It's just a ring. What are you throwing a fit for? I told you I'd get you one tomorrow. Are you really this shallow? I stared at him, something inside me coming undone.
Right.
Wanting a wedding ring that actually fits, that's me throwing a fit. That's me being shallow. Let me tell you something, Robert. You're not the only man in the world for me either. This wedding, I'm not marrying you. Robert seized my wrist and crushed it in his grip. What is this supposed to mean? You're calling off the wedding over a ring. Maya stoked the fire from the side. Looks like Alma's determined to make a scene. Wasn't she just on the phone a minute ago, talking about crashing the wedding? She can't be serious. Robert gave a contemptuous snort. Her? Who'd bother crashing a wedding for her? Does she actually think she's the heroine of some movie? Alma, this playing hard to get act won't work on me. Stop it. Finish the ceremony, and I'll take you to buy a ring. I didn't move. There are this many people watching. You really want to make a spectacle of yourself? I could see the guests below already murmuring, their eyes sweeping over our little group on the stage. What's going on with the bride and groom up there? Are they fighting? A second ago, I saw the groom knock the bride down chasing after that other woman. If you ask me, the groom's in love with that woman. Maybe the bride finally saw the truth and wants to call it off. Marrying the bride when he's already got someone he loves? Isn't that just ruining her life? Even the officiant stepped in, wincing, trying to smooth it over. Why don't we move on with the ceremony? If the ring doesn't fit, let's skip that part for now. Still, I said nothing. The whispers were swelling, and Robert's face was getting uglier by the second. He stared me down, color draining to a hard gray. What is it going to take to get you to go on with this wedding? That's easy enough. Maya stepped forward and looked at me with disdain. Alma's just using the wedding day to make demands and back you into a corner. I hereby renounce my no marriage stance. So, Alma, are you still going to keep making trouble? Before I could say a word, Robert grabbed Maya's hand, his eyes burning with feeling. Do you mean that? His groomsmen piled on. There it is, what Robert's been wanting for years. No wonder he was so wasted last night he called Maya's name in his sleep till morning. Now that's a love story. Maya flies home just for Robert's wedding, and turns out it's her own. And hey, the ring still fits. Call it fate. Ha, Alma really stepped on her own rake there. Give it a minute. She'll be bawling. So this was how much he loved Maya. And oh wonder he wouldn't bring me to the party last night. He told me to rest up, to be the most beautiful bride today, when really, he was just afraid I'd get in the way of his good time. I chased him for years, and he was always cool, always distant. It wasn't until Maya left the country 6 months ago that he agreed to marry me. I didn't let myself dwell on it then. Now I understood. His heart had been with Maya the whole time. So the moment she came back yesterday, he changed all over again. Maya looked at me, pleased with herself. Well, Alma, are you still going to keep making a scene? I swallowed the bitterness rising in me, lifted a smile, and pressed the ring I'd been holding for Robert into her hand. Then the two of you should exchange your rings. The guests are all waiting for the feast to start. At that, Robert's hand shot out and clamped around my wrist again, his eyes vicious. What is this supposed to mean? Still acting? You're not afraid I'll actually marry Maya? No. The flat certainty in my voice made him sneer. Get down on your knees and beg me, and maybe I'll change my mind. Otherwise, I'll wreck you in front of every last one of them. I shot him a look, gathered up my skirts, and turned to step off the stage. Maya caught my arm out of nowhere and stuck her tongue out at Robert, playful. Let your old buddy handle this for you. Then she turned back to me, and her eyes were full of threat. Even the things I throw away aren't yours to touch. You overreached, Alma. That's on you. What are you doing? She only smiled, cold and slow, and then she let herself fall backward off the stage. She hit the floor hard, the skin on her forehead splitting open. Robert was off the platform in an instant, lifting her up, his eyes brimming with concern. Maya, are you all right? Maya cradled her forehead, her face the picture of injury. I was only trying to help you, trying to get her to stay. And she called me shameless and shoved me right off. One by one, his groomsmen turned to look at me like I was their enemy. Maya was trying to save you some dignity, and you push her? You don't know good from bad. You should be ashamed of yourself. I never would have guessed how calculating you are. Maya's the innocent one here. Robert, you owe her an explanation today. The guests below craned their necks for a better look at the show. What's going on? Looks like the bride shoved that woman right off the stage. From that height, she was trying to kill her. No grudge is worth that. Right? The bride looks so sweet. You'd never think she had it in her. I shook my head, came down off the stage, and pointed at Maya. It wasn't me. I didn't do anything. She fell on her own. Maya's eyes reddened, wounded. Alma, I know you blame me. Say whatever you want. As long as you stop fighting this today, I'll take it. Say whatever you want about me. See how big-hearted Maya is? She's not one of those petty, jealous women who only knows how to tear another woman down. Exactly. Pushes someone and won't even own it. Truly, petty women and small-minded people are the hardest to deal with. Robert's palm cracked across my face. He glared at me, his voice vicious. I never knew you could be this cruel. You actually dared to push Maya. Get down on your knees and apologize to her right now, or I will never forgive you. I held my cheek and looked at him, at a man who didn't trust me for a second, and I knew then that choosing not to marry him was the best decision I'd ever made. A man like this wasn't worth marrying. I did nothing wrong. Why should I kneel and apologize? If you want the truth, check the security footage. I will not apologize for something I never did. The moment I mentioned the security footage, a flicker of guilt crossed Maya's eyes. She clutched her head and made to leave. Forget it. Today's just my bad luck. Let's not throw everyone into a panic over this. I fell on my own, and I'll chalk it up to bad luck. Watching her limp away, Robert pulled her into his arms, his voice aching. Maya, don't go. I believe you. I'll make this right for you. That's right. She owes Maya an explanation. The groomsmen worked themselves into righteous fury. Alma needs to be taught a lesson. Only then did a trace of triumph surface on Maya's face. Robert turned to me cold. Alma, kneel. Bow your head. Not a chance. I refused flat out, and the answer was a slap, louder than the first. His eyes were as cold as a stranger's. Don't make me say it again. Kneel. Alma, when you do wrong, you pay for it. No one around me hurts Maya and walks away without paying. Then someone kicked the back of my knee. I pitched forward and crashed down onto the floor, the pain shooting through my kneecaps, so sharp the color drained from my face. I struggled to get up, and his groomsmen held me down. Let go of me. I did nothing wrong. I will never apologize. Smack. Robert struck me twice more. You won't bow your head nicely? Then we'll help you. What do you think you're? I never finished. They forced my head down toward the floor, again and again, slamming it hard against the ground. I didn't stop until the 99th bow. My forehead was a mess of blood, and my head swam, thick and dull. Can I go now? But the moment I started to rise, Maya let out another shriek. The ring's gone. Alma was the only one who touched me. I was shoved back down, my hand crushed under someone's shoe. Where did you hide the ring? Alma, hand it over nicely, and we can still talk about the wedding. I gave a cold laugh and looked at Robert with open contempt. After everything you've done to me, how low would I have to be to still want to marry you? I didn't take the ring. If it's missing, you'd better ask Maya what she actually did. Alma still wants to pin it on Maya, even now. Looks like that lesson didn't sink in. Still hasn't learned. Still has it out for Maya. Robert seized my chin and sneered. Don't think I can't see what you're doing, pretending to be furious, telling me to go marry Maya while you quietly pocket the ring. Still saying one thing and meaning another. Be good. Things are already a disaster today, and you look like hell, hardly fit to go through with a wedding. Let Maya stand in for you and finish the ceremony. The ring won't fit on you anyway. I really couldn't make sense of what went on inside Robert's head. He wanted a stand-in for the wedding, but stand-in was just an excuse. He was afraid Maya wouldn't agree to a real marriage, so he used the word to make his own dream come true. And Maya? She kept saying she didn't want this, yet every word out of her mouth, every move she made, was meant to wreck the wedding. Just like she'd said, even what she didn't want, she'd never let anyone else have. Looking at them now, the two of them really were a perfect match. Hold your wedding with whoever you like. I don't care, but I genuinely didn't take the ring. Believe it or not. My eyes didn't waver, and for a moment he hesitated. Maya spoke up again. Maybe the ring's on her right now. Alma, if you say you didn't take it, why not let us search you and prove you're innocent? So this was what she'd been after all along. Making me bow wasn't humiliation enough. Now she wanted a search. Watching the certainty in her eyes, a chill crawled up my spine. I clamped both hands over my wedding dress and stared hard at Robert. I didn't take the ring. I swear it. He only looked at me, his eyes cold. Then prove it. Let her search you. Maya tore my hands away and looked down at me, pleased with herself. Let me do it. We're all women here. It's easier this way. No. I fought and shoved her off, and she went down on the floor. Looks like Alma's too guilty to let me search her. Robert scoffed. First she pushes Maya off the stage. Now she wants to make another scene. If you're going to be this shameless, don't blame me. He pointed at the groomsmen. Hold her down. Let Maya search her properly. They moved at once, pinning my limbs so hard that nothing I did made any difference. Maya bent over me, mocking. You brought this on yourself, so don't blame me. Once everyone's seen your body, let's find out whether he still wants you. Then she gave a vicious yank, ripping the neckline of my dress, nearly bearing the padding underneath. The groomsmen leered at my chest, and the sickness in me rose until I just wanted to die. The guests craned their necks toward me, too. This bride's got quite a figure on her. Nice soft skin, too. The groom's generous, giving that up. What's there to give up? Haven't you figured it out yet? That woman over there, Maya, she's the one the groom's really got his heart set on. This bride's a stand-in at best. Their whispers kept circling me, and I wanted to die from the shame of it. And at the worst possible moment, my mind went to him. If he were here, he would never let anyone treat me like this. But after the way I'd heard him yesterday, I didn't know if he'd come. And right now, the only person who could save me was Robert. I swallowed every shred of pride and looked up at him, eyes burning, begging. Robert, don't do this to me. Tell them to let go. Please. Something flickered in his eyes, a reluctance he couldn't quite hide. Maya caught it. The malice in her gaze sharpened. You're not seriously calling this off, are you? You stop now and you're telling everyone here that I lied. Is that how you treat your friends? Robert's jaw hardened. He looked down at me cold. Keep searching. Maya's hand was already at my half-torn neckline. I shut my eyes in despair. That was when a familiar voice tore through the reception hall. Get your hands off her. That's my bride.